Welcome, everyone, to the Underground Sound. I am DJ Exec. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango and a gentleman who is a bit red in the face today. Together, we are putting the us back into music.
So please do a like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music that you love to hear with a big, glowy, rosy face.
And don't forget to press the little bell so you get all the notifications of whenever Tom uploads new Underground Sound videos. So exciting!
Yeah, it is exciting indeed. And I don't know. Should we show them the sunglasses case, or maybe later on in the show? Well, let's just do later on in the show. Big special shout out and thank you to our show sponsor, Nathan Brachear of Monsters Are Real. Thank you, brother Nathan, once again sponsoring the show and helping keep this entire thing going for us here. Please do visit monstersarerealmusic.com. Check out Nathan's body of work there, and please do also visit the video description below. Find the links to all of the artists that we're going to review here today. Also, you'll find links to Carlos Fandango, Smart Monkey, and myself, so that way you can get in touch with us if you need anything. You have a question, you'd like to collaborate, whatever the case may be. And if you're on Slaps, I do recommend reaching out to some artists and thinking if you have a dance song that you'd maybe like to collaborate with somebody on, I do highly recommend reaching out to those artists, as Carlos and I had met subsequently from kind of messaging each other back and forth on Slaps, and ultimately Smart Monkey from Carlos and himself relaying messages to each other. Now we have formed the Underground Sound here. So Slaps is a great community for musicians. At least it was. I don't know if it still is. I haven't passed messages along there in quite a while, but definitely I think that there will be at least some people out there, if you're working on a song, that could point you in the right direction if you're having a thought about moving in a particular way with that. So we should get to this before we start the show. So on March 28th, 2023, Ryuichi Sakamoto, I should say, had passed away, a very famous composer. Now, Carl will know more about Ryuichi than I do. So, Carl, take this one away, sir.
I mean, most famously, he composed the theme tune to Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, a fantastic film about set in Second World War II in the Pacific Asia campaign. And really sort of hauntingly beautiful soundtrack for there. But I actually really like his work with David Sylvian. So things like Bamboo Houses, really sort of captivating track. And just a good composer that combined some of the Japanese and actually composed Chinese music. So real appreciation of Chinese music from a Japanese composer was quite unusual for The Last Emperor soundtrack, and that's a fantastic film. So again, just really captures the feel of the film and the whole era. So it's a sad loss, and I think we should raise our glasses.
We shall, as we always do, raise our glasses here. And Smart Monkey took the coaster right with them.
Moment.
Sakamoto, once again, 28th of March, 2023, has passed away. So obviously his camp there, mourning his loss there. And so cheers.
Cheers.
Doesn't take much for us to excuse us to give us as much of an excuse to drink, does it? But I mean, it seems like sadly, we're doing this more and more frequently. There's this sort of so many great sort of passing all the time, and it's a sad thing, really.
Oh, it is. And speaking of not needing too much reason to drink here, so somebody that would be celebrating a birthday today, we usually do something here. Well, not usually. I'm trying to keep up with it, but this day in music history, not really too much going on that was like super interesting, but somebody that would have had a birthday today would have been Billie Holiday, who was born in 1915, but subsequently also died in 1959 due to liver failure. So
now I'd recommend to all our audience as well and yourselves, just if you do get to listen to one Billie Holiday album, make it Lady in Satin. Vocally, it's really odd because it's she was deteriorating massively at that point, and certainly vocally she was, and yet it's that frailty in her voice, but the delivery is just absolutely stunning. That is an amazing, incredible album. Lady in Satin, get it.
Take Carl's advice on that one, and we will raise a glass once again. Cheers! Thank you both for the music, and thank you for making music for what it is today. So, cheers.
Yes, lady sings the blues.
All right. I think we got to everything that we needed to get to there. Bit of a dark start to the show, I think, but
I'm in tears.
just a little bit. Okay.
You froze there. I didn't. Did everybody freeze there, or was it just?
No, it's just
No,
you.
that's you.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
Yeah, you gone all a bit blurry there, Carl.
So I missed that last sentence anyway. You said, I think we just got that something.
Oh, that we're off to a little bit of a dark start on the show here. So,
and then I said, I'm in tears here.
Oh,
there, you're up to date now.
fucking
Right.
moving up.
It's very theatrical then. Did you see that? And I'm in tears here.
I'm literally in tears.
Well, you're quite the theatrical person. Since you're, I'm assuming it's since you're a big movie buff as well. Is that you're usually a pretty theatrical person, especially.
Hey,
Please do like, subscribe, and share.
do like.
You'll find the music you want to hear.
I should have one of those skulls in my hand as I do it.
Probably.
I'm gonna have to do that now.
Get some William, get the William Shakespeare effect to us.
Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well.
Subscribe or not to subscribe.
I really want to do
Bell
that
or
now.
not
I
to hit the bell.
really want to do that.
To share or not to share. Yes, absolutely share. Share,
And if you get
subscribe.
one with a movable jaw as well, you can do this. Please do like, subscribe, and share.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Good idea. I like it.
Coming up with good ideas all of the time. All the time. So, oh boy. So we have a fan of our comedy, by the way. I'm sure that you gentlemen already know this.
Yes.
Really? Really?
Oh, so it's
What comedy?
a gentleman known as gentleman known as Big Juffer.
Big Juffer.
You said Big Juffer, not Big Chuffer, didn't you?
I know Big Juffer.
Juffer.
Oh, you know Big Juffer.
I'll give him a thumbs up. He'll like that.
Yeah, here's the Big Juffer. Thank you.
Absolutely, 100%.
Your support.
Thumbs up.
He'll love that. He will.
Drink some more, lads.
I'll show him
Cheers.
Big Juffer. He'll be
Yeah,
well
cheers.
chuffed. Yeah. Cheers, Big Juffer.
So how do you know Big Juffer?
I work with him.
Oh.
Oh, the plot thickens.
It's
Yes.
better. He's my boss.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
He's a good guy.
Ooh,
And
the
he'll be
plot.
well chuffed that we've
Oh
called
my
him out.
God! And after this show, he's still willing to employ you.
Well, who knows? Now I've called him out and he can identify him again like gone. No, he'll love it. He'll love the fact we called him out. He'll be chuffed.
I love the fact that Big Juffer, as it were, is a fan of not only this underground music, but of our painstaking, attempt to bring comedy and laughter into the lives of our fans as well. It takes seconds upon seconds to come up with these jokes that we do. So
That's right. We do make a lot of efforts, but with very little results.
a big fan of our comedy. Yes, so please, folks, follow Big Juffer's example here. Do leave us comments. If you like the comedy, you like the comedy. If you don't like the comedy, you don't like the comedy. It's all fine and dandy. But do hop into the comment section below. Let us know who your favorite artists are and what music you liked or disliked or anything about the show that you have liked or disliked and whatever the case may be. So
Actually, I do have to give the opportunity because Big Juffer does his own YouTube channel as well, a gaming channel. So if you're into sort of that retro gaming, go look him up as well. So I'll give him.
And it's actually called Big Juffer on the channel, is it?
I believe so. He might correct me, but I'll let you know if it's any different. But he does a sort of retro gaming channel.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I search Big Juffer and spell it correctly, make sure I spell it correctly, that should actually come up. Yes, it is. It is. So it's at Big Juffer. So BIG space JUFFER. If you search for that, you'll get a guy going.
That's him.
That's it, yeah. And he looks strangely familiar, though.
He's bloody good. He's bloody good at his gaming. It's scary.
Well, it says here, I play arcade games to try to show how great they are and how rubbish I am.
No, he's actually good. He's playing himself down there.
Ah, well, there you go. That's humility. That's good to have that in a boss. Humility.
That's definitely right up our alley as far as the sense of humor goes. So I will leave a link to Big Juffer gaming channel here in the video description below. So be sure to check that out. I'm just going to make a note so I don't forget.
And I think it'll be right up Big Juffer's alley as well. So he must have a sense of humor. He employed Rob.
That's very true. We have that conversation very often. So
yeah, my boss has a good sense of humor too.
Yeah, but your boss doesn't watch the show, so fuck him.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. He might do. Oops. Oh, she, because it's a she and a he. My ex-boss would be the one that's more into the music. I've tried to turn him onto the show as such.
You've tried to turn him on.
Apparently.
Several times. It never worked. I never got that rise I was looking for.
Boss.
Yeah. You never got that rise out of your boss?
No, never got the rise.
Now's the time for the glasses case.
Oh. What for me to get my
there you go.
Get my thing up. A phallic glasses case.
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh my god.
Okay. We're done with the show before we even started.
That's my Big Juffer.
Oh my god, we haven't even started yet.
We'll get on to song one, shall we? Track one.
We better. So, okay. Kingdom of Dirt with a song called Hypnotizing. Carlos Fandango, what's going on here?
Right, so let's have a look at Kingdom of Dirt's information here. So we've got, well, this is uploaded by, on slaps.com, this is uploaded by Matt Noworski, who is the drummer for Kingdom of Dirt and also music enthusiast. So hopefully he'll become a fan of the show along with his bandmates. They're from, well, at least he's from Petaluma, California, USA. Influences, actually that's strange because it's, this is one I think that doesn't come up with the influences. So I can just tell you instead about the song itself. So it says, thanks for giving this a listen. Hypnotizing, I can feel you in my mind. But we've had comments on here such as the everything in this makes my heart happy. A wall of guitars just hit me. Some heavy, awesome music there. And this is really good. So with no further ado, I think we should get on with the track.
Probably, but there are actually 15 influences here, ranging from Beastie Boys to the Police, AC/DC, Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Rocketeers, the Strokes, Weezer, Arctic Monkeys, nonetheless, and the Killers. So there are.
I couldn't see them. Who knew?
All I can hear is Red Hot Chili Peppers again, though.
Oh, yeah. I kept getting my words wrong last week. I hope it's better this week.
Oh, some memorable moments, though.
Some memorable moments indeed, not to be confused with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Here's Matt Noworski is what I'm assuming that it is, a Polish chap, I'm assuming, by birth. Kingdom of Dirt with a song called Hypnotizing, also available on Spotify and YouTube. Let's check it out. All right. That was Kingdom of Dirt with a song called Hypnotizing, which I thought was very kind of upbeat. So good show opener. Smart Monkey, what'd you think?
Yeah, boom. The show begins. That was a cracking one to start a show with. Got to agree with the person who said, I've just been hit with a wall of guitar. It is just so apt, isn't it? Just bam, right in your face, right from the outset. Really good. And what bloody good guitar work, actually, it is as well. Really good. Reminded me of a group called Sham 69. I don't know if you, Sham 69.
Ocean Boys.
Yeah, it's that kind of delivery of the shouting of the vocals and everything. It's just really good, really good. Catchy, solid punk track. Really enjoyed that. I mean, it's going to be a contender right from the start for one of the show for me. But let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a contender for me as well for one of the best of show here, Carlos Fandango.
Yeah, I agree. It's well, funny you should say about the Sham 69 because I've written down shouted sing-along chorus, almost punky, which it kind of is, and great for crowds. So imagine that in a live audience, everyone sort of joining in. So that'd be good. And it's like a sort of, it's no disrespect to the Defy rock band because I really liked their track the other week, Kundalini Army, a lot. And but the it's like a sort of a slightly more polished version of them in a way. So that's the only way I could really describe it. But it's not dissimilar. But the crunching, chunky guitar rhythm all the way through that is fantastic. With not like solos with lots of flair or anything, but just doing the job and just right for the song. I like the time signature change in the sort of the middle section or towards the end. So you got bars of 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, then 8/8 beats and on 4/4 time, and it's just like just a really good sort of change when it was needed, I think, to just make the song further more interesting. But really good song, really good start to the show. Definitely possible top 3 are there.
Very much so, very much so. Great show opener, and so far a contender for one of the best in show here. So I definitely felt a little bit of the Brachears in there. Like if you remember, Steady As She Goes was a little bit, kind of like a lower tempo song, but it kind of reminded me of that. So the Ramones, I got a punk vibe off of this. I really liked the fact that there was like this kind of like little short guitar solo. Then there was like a bit of a bass solo before everything like kind of came in. And then when you had that big ending guitar solo, so getting hit with that wall of guitars was definitely pretty damn accurate of a comment there. And I got to say, overall, I think it's a very nice production. It's not like not too much lacking here. So the vocals were pretty crisp, sounded like maybe one layer vocals, but they were still pretty out there, still pretty crisp. You could definitely make out what was being said. So with the lyrics and the music overall, I got to give this one 2 thumbs up on my end here. Definitely enjoyed it. Moving on to song number 2, Peter Michaels Jr., I'm on my way. What's going on here, Carl?
Interesting one here. So it says, sitting in a room writing songs all day and churning out a few albums a year. Other than that, I'm a pretty okay guy. He's from New York, Peter Michaels Jr. And this is weird because my screen's coming up different to what it normally does. So I'm not seeing the influences like I normally. There we are. Yes, I am. So now, this is a very retro sounding track, and he shares so many influences with me. I'd forgotten about this one, and it's a sort of set in a sort of, we'll talk about it afterwards, but influences include, among others, many others, Bee Gees, King Crimson, Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie, Klaatu, Led Zeppelin, Queen, Kraftwerk, Neil Sedaka, Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly, Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, Simon & Garfunkel, The Association. These are all ones that are shared with me. I mean, the influences are massive and vast. So the Monkees, Stevie Wonder, the Beatles, you will hear a few of these influences in this song, I guarantee it. So, and this one says, a fun bop that melts the bad vibes. The single just came out, and I'm trying to reach far with the tune, so share it with people you love. I think no matter what you're into, you'll all smile when you hear it, and I think it will make you guys out there listening and watching the show smile.
So Cloud 2 was, I'm getting a little sidetracked from the music here, but Cloud 2 wasn't that the name of the robot from the day the Earth stood still?
That was actually, well, Gort was the robot, but Klaatu was the alien being that came down to sort of kind of talk about Earth's impending doom if they didn't change their ways. But yeah, so that's where they got the name from. And Klaatu, of course, is the Canadian duo. But I've mentioned them before, but they were like a sort of Canadian Beatles kind of thing going on there. And but you'll hear lots of influences in this one.
All right, well, here we go with Peter Michaels Jr. I'm on my way, available on Spotify and Apple Music. And please do, once again, visit the video description below if you'd like to find this link and listen to the song for yourself and possibly add it onto your playlist. So let's check it out.
Sign to leave is getting in the way. First find the key and take it home today. Wait for the word so you know what to say. Think of what you heard as you make your merry way outside where you can't hide. It's a grassland waiting to show the light, and I can't keep calm, I must move on, 'cause I'm getting in my own way, 'cause I'm getting in my own way. Seconds pass you by, it's easy to ignore, but the lessons answer why, 'cause they never failed before. Don't look down, don't be blind to the burden of the road. Set your ground, you're right on time as you make your merry way outside where you can't hide. It's a grassland waiting to show the light, and I can't keep calm, I must move on, 'cause I'm getting in my own way, 'cause I'm getting in my own way. Outside where you can't hide. It's a grassland waiting to show the light, and I can't keep calm, I must move on, 'cause I'm getting in my own way. I can't keep track of what's mine, 'cause I'm getting in my own way. And I see you're doing fine. I see you're doing fine. I see that you're doing fine. I see that you're doing fine. I see you're doing fine. Doing just fine. Doing just fine. I see you're doing just fine.
Smart monkey, still a little red in the face. Are you doing just fine over there?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. It's all this excitement of the show.
Doing well for a crab.
Flushing me out. The show is flushing me out. I mean, track number 2. We're on to just track number 2, and already another stonker of a track. That is really good. I have to be honest. That is really good. I mean, it has those real 60s retro hippie vibes, and I could sort of go, he captures the influences really well, but then he has 171 influences. So he's kind of pitched his influences quite wide, but I mean, they're wonderful. They're really capturing so many of those retro elements. It's a really beautiful track, and it's a really clever track. The percussion instruments are well picked, the flutes as they sort of play their way through the track, the bass is dancing through and just helps. You just can't help but love pretty much everything. And then just to top it all, it's got those harmonized vocals that are just, they just throw you right back into that era. The whole thing is really, really good and really clever, and it could be another one of my faves of this week's show.
Carlos Fandango.
Indeed, Mr. Monkey, I concur. It could be one of my favorites as well. Definitely my top 3 already. It's going to stay there, I think. But then we've got a lot of stiff competition tonight, so we shall see. But if anyone out there who knows anything about 60s psychedelic bubblegum pop of the 66, really, probably 67, right the way through, probably to the early 70s, 1970, 71, then this has absolutely nailed that sound precisely. So you've got lots of smiles and fun, so much detail in there, lush harmonies, rhythmic happiness in there. You've got the sort of the vibe of Simon & Garfunkel's 59th Street Bridge song, Feeling Groovy. You've got the Mamas and Papas vocal type sounds in there, the Cow Seals, lesser known band, and the Association, Windy, just that sound in there. The Monkeys, a little bit of that in there. If you think a little bit me, a little bit you, this that sort of kind of vibe. And then to top it off, you've got the George Harrison sound of guitar on just filling in those little spaces nicely. But it's just so well done. It's such an accurate replica of that type of music from that specific era and that kind of production sound. It's just marvelous. He's absolutely got it spot on. It's a brilliant, interesting song. It's fantastic. Really good.
Okay. Come and knock on my door. Come and knock on my door. We've been waiting for you. Yep. Oh boy. How do I start this one off? Song's about like 45 years too late. Maybe. So here's the thing. I agree with you both, is that it does have that nice kind of like retro vibe to it. It's definitely got that bubblegum, like you said, psychedelic kind of like pop to it. I don't know that there's a market for it today. In today's music, today's music is having like a really difficult time, like kind of like breaking into today's music, but now trying to bring something back from the 60s, 70s, 80s, which could be used as a great theme song to the one that I was singing, which was for Three's Company. Again, the production top notch. I like the vocals. Everything seems to meld really well and everything like that. This would have been great. Like I'm sure that you guys remember watching the Muppets as you were growing up, right? And so, kind of like having this kind of song in that kind of, in that kind of setting, I think would have worked real well. But I don't know where the viability for the song would come in to play with 2023. Obviously, we're remaking a lot of movies, but I don't know that we're remaking movies to a point where we're going back to the 60s or 70s. But
I bought that one on iTunes, so there's a market for me because I like that way better than anything that's in the charts or being played on Radio 1 right now or even Radio 2. So for me, that's really good. So there's a certain generation out there that will it will appeal to. There's definitely a market for it, but it's not going to hit the charts and conquer them. So yeah, but this guy, I sense from the joy in his music that he's actually doing it for the sake of doing it, because he loves it and he's immersed in that whole. Look at the influences. I mean, there's so much variety of influences, so many that are shared with me, that it's making me think he's probably got the same sort of approach where you just want to make music in the vein of music, in the style of music, in this style, and just flits around, because I've heard a couple of his other tracks and they're not necessarily similar to that. So I think he just makes it for the pleasure of making it and making good music that, again, it may connect with only a few people, but it will connect with some people.
It will definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I see different, because I think every music evolves in cycles, and when someone does this and they bring back an era of music, it hits fresh ears that haven't heard this before, a new generation, and it brings it more relevant, especially if it's a younger generation of person who's replicating that music, and new ears hear it, and it's fresh to them. So we know that it's from a past era, but for them it's a new sound, and it's fresh compared to what we're hearing, which is very generic, mundane, almost, dare I say it, and I have to say it, talentless music in some cases, and yet there is so much talent going on in this track, and there will be a younger generation of people that'll be going, well, what is this? This is fresh. I really like this. So it's a time, isn't it? Whether he's hit it right, don't know, but it will happen. It will come back out again, and people will start. You think about the 90s and how, like, the Stone Roses hit that sound in the 90s, which was a very retro sound that everybody engaged with it, and before you knew it, you had this massive different sort of groups doing that kind of very hippie sort of retro feel again. And it has its time and place, and maybe Peter Michaels might hit it. Peter Michaels Jr. might hit it. He might have hit the time right.
And like you say, just quickly, it could be used easily on a retro. I mean, look at Last Night in Soho. That film, really good film, actually. It was good, but it used a lot of the old Dave D, Dozy Beaky Mickentich Last Night in Soho track as its main track, headline track, and then, but also used so many other good songs, like Barry Ryan's Eloise, and so there's definitely people. My son was listening to that incessantly, that soundtrack. So there's definitely, annoyingly, when I say to him, well, look, this track's like that one, that track's like that one, try those as well, and then he won't do it, but there's definitely a market for them in the right place if he captures the right moment. And some film, one of those jobs, some people have that job where they wonderful job where they actually get to choose the music for films. What a wonderful job that is. And so you've got to scout around looking for songs that haven't been heard necessarily, that have that familiar feel. Well, that's perfect for a sort of retro 60s film.
And I'm agreeing with the both of you. I'm not saying anything, because let's say that even if we were talking about 15 years ago, the Austin Powers movies, right? The Austin Powers movies were made to give that kind of like retro feel to the entire thing, and this song, I think, would have worked brilliantly into it. So looking at some of the influence here, which is like, let's say Charlie Parker or Bill Evans, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Who, to the point that Smart Monkey was making, is in the 90s, I think that a lot of these groups made a comeback with kind of like this kind of like retro kind of like hippie evolution to what was going on in the 90s. And the Smashing Pumpkins definitely broke off a little bit from that, the Green Day as well, and so otherwise the music would have been lost. So I gotta say, for Peter Michaels Jr. here, like, it's great to bring the music back. And once again, I'm not saying anything bad here, because this is a good production. It's definitely a sing-along kind of production. I don't think that it has as much commercial viability as many other songs, but I think that it could develop a kind of like a cult following, as did the Rocky Horror Picture Show, for example. So there's going to be a place for it. I don't think that the mainstream is one of those places, though. But the mainstream is just like not one of those places for any of the music that we really listen to here on the Underground Sound. So I'm going to say nice job. Nicely jobbed.
Goodly done. Goodly done.
Goodly done. Yes.
I love the tracks that get us talking like this. They're always the best ones.
Yeah,
I love
you
it.
know,
I love it when we're all sort of like slightly different. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we get passionate about it as well.
Yeah,
I like
they're the best
I was
tracks.
thinking
Best
just then, I
tracks.
was thinking, did I sound really angry just then? Because I felt like I sounded, but then I think it's because of all the cheersing we were doing. Cheers, by the way. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
I'm getting a bit leery now, but normally red wine is just a calming thing, you know, it's a very relaxing drink, but feeling a bit leery at the moment. Feeling very protective over Peter Michaels Jr.
Any of you that disagrees.
By track 5, we're going to be fighting with the computer screens, not even realizing we're not in the same room anymore. No? But listen, Peter Michael here, Peter Michaels Jr., I should say, has the look for this type of music as well. He's got like that hat on, and you know he's got the long kind of like scraggly kind of like hair. You know, he definitely looks of the era of this type of music. So yeah, once again, nicely jobbed.
Goodly done.
Yes. Well done, Junior.
There you go.
Right, so it's kind of that time, isn't it?
It is that time. It is that time. So that we got the purple
bowl of destiny.
Oh my God, it's so it's literally the same color as your face, so the background.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so I'm going to do the tweezers of terror. Well, they're not tweezers, obviously. They're fingers. Are they scissors or tweezers? I don't know. You decide. If they're tweezers of choice. And if they're scissors of choice. So, you say when, and
they're scissors.
One has leapt out. I'm not sure.
You've cut it in half with your scissors fingers.
This motion right here is scissors. This motion right here is tweezers.
Oh, I see. Would you want scissors or tweezers? Tweezers.
He's put it back. He's put it back.
It wasn't actually wrapped or anything.
The vote was not
right back into the bowl. He's like, not for that one.
Tweezers. Here we go. Ready?
Well, stop looking inside the damn bowl.
Oh yeah, I mustn't look. Well, yeah, but my eyes are so bad at the moment. I just okay. Well, I'll.
The purple bowl of destiny, completely random, except for when Carlos Fandango is looking directly into it.
Okay.
Good.
Just pecking away at one. Oh well, we had this. I feel bad because one had jumped out a minute ago when I was doing the whatever it was finger motion thing. I'll give you the choice because it was unsigned artist and now it's punk, and we had punk recently, so I feel bad for the unsigned artist. That's there it is. That is.
I think we should go unsigned artist. We've had a few punk tracks recently.
Yeah, and it was the one that was there first. Unsigned artist.
Regret this though, didn't we?
Yeah. Guess what's coming? Oh, we say, got a joke for you, haven't I? If I can find it, yeah.
Oh, the monkey here.
Oh, where is it? I hope I haven't. Oh no, there we are. I've got it. Right. So this is about a pessimist, an optimist, and a realist. A pessimist sees a dark tunnel. An optimist sees light at the end of the tunnel. Oh God, it's gone. A realist sees a freight train. The train driver sees 3 idiots standing on the tracks. That's the joke.
Your delivery on that was horrible.
I will give you this one. Well, I thought the delivery was okay. I think the joke was bad. Well, I changed the delivery because it actually said 3 effing idiots, but that probably would have been better, wouldn't it? But I don't think the comedy should rely on the expletive. So anyway, I asked my old Aunt Maud how she lost her husband, and she told me her sad story. She said, well, he needed a blood transfusion, but his blood type was not on record. So the doctors asked me if I knew what it was, as they urgently needed to know in order to save Norman's life. She said, tragically, I've never known his blood type, so I only had time to sit and say goodbye. I'll never forget how supportive Norman was. Even as he was fading away, he kept whispering to me, "Be positive, be positive." That was my Norman, always thinking of others.
That's actually very good.
Yeah, not bad, was it?
That
Started teaching myself Braille. I was reading a horror story. I was thinking something bad is about to happen. I can feel it.
Talking about sort of hospital jokes, I had to go into A&E the other day because I had accidentally drank a bottle of invisible ink. Annoying thing was I was in hospital for hours waiting to be seen.
Sorry.
Your delivery is way off.
That was bad.
Oh,
No,
dear.
it was good. It's just like Rodney Dangerfield. "Oh, take my wife, please." You know,
Did you hear about the guy who was both sad and horny? It's a real tearjerker.
All right. Oh boy, Bruce Panagopoulos. I'm gonna assume that's Greek. Sounds Greek.
So Greek to you.
Bruce, hold on. I need to write this down. Pana.
While you're doing that, then did you hear about the tragic story about the man who sat in food colouring? He dies in the end.
Where you get these jokes from? These are better ones.
Yeah, they're online. I mean, I just looked up random Google on jokes, and anything's better than the ones in my books. But those ones last week weren't so bad because it was not the Tom O'Connor worst jokes in the world. It was the man walks into a bar book. Book 1. I've got book 2 and 3 as well, and I've got best of dad jokes as well.
A what?
A dad jokes book as well. They're pretty awesome.
Let's just. I'm just going to say let's stick to Google. So presenting screen now. Panagopoulos. I have to assume Bruce Panagopoulos.
Panagopoulos.
What?
It's Panagopoulos.
Panagopoulos. Panagopoulos. Okay, yeah, well, it makes more sense now. Yeah, as I see it.
Oh, Texas.
Yep, from San Antonio, Texas, says that American singer-songwriter, recording artist based in San Antonio, Texas. Single Sleeping Pills has surpassed 4,000 plus streams on YouTube, 1.7 thousand plus on Spotify, and so forth. So, joined June 22nd, 2020 onto Slaps here. 31 influences include the Deftones, A Perfect Circle, Chevelle Tool, Of Mice and Men. I'm liking it so far. With the 9 Inch Nails, Team Sleep, Crosses, Breaking Benjamin. Liking it so far, but we've been let down with that before. But brand new, hot off the presses, posted not but 11 minutes ago. This one is called Sleeping Pills. For whatever whatever reason, I should say, version 115. So let's see the 105th. Let's see here. I should say the 115th version of Sleeping Pills. All righty there.
I think I heard the N word there.
Not on that song, no. Sleeping Pills by Bruce. How do you say it again?
Panagopoulos.
Panagopoulos. Yeah. Carlos Fandango, take it away.
I think interesting start. There's very nice, crisp, clean guitar recording sound, and quite a nice electronic beat to go with the guitar. So this version is probably the more alt rock, electro pop version of what is normally the other version. I think it must be a rock song or slightly more metal song. I think it sort of started with a lot more promise than it eventually delivered overall, purely for the fact that I think it could be more interesting. I don't know whether it's just that the vocals are very sort of, don't want to say bland because they're not bland, but it just could be more interesting. So the vocal effect on it is all the way through the track, and I feel like that could be used sparingly. And I'd like to hear his actual vocal, or with different vocal effects maybe. But I did like it when he went to the higher register, and it sounded a bit, not dissimilar to Aha, Morten Harket and Aha's 2020s, sort of 2000s, noughties and 2010s work, where it's sort of electronic but a little bit rocky as well. So I think there's a lot of promise there, and but I liked certain aspects of it. But I think it wasn't a bad song. It wasn't a great song, but I think it was okay. It's pretty good. I mean, I'd still like to hear more from him. So I think he's capable of writing some good songs. That's my main thing. My main take home there would be that.
I'll agree with that. There, Smart Monkey. What say you, sir?
I'm not going to agree. I actually really enjoyed this. It reminded me a lot of Radiohead, and the fact that that vocal stayed on that consistent theme is more of a reason why it reminded me of it. It had that very haunting, melancholy, downbeat vibe to it going all the way through, and I really enjoyed it. And it's quite surprising because I had to double check the length of the song, because to me, despite the kind of melancholy feel of it, it seemed to end quite quickly to me, and I could have heard more. I could have listened to more of it, and I really enjoyed it. And that's throwing a bit of a curveball in for me, because we're in a track 3 and I've got 3 tracks that I really like, and Purple Bowl there is really throwing me on a tangent, because I really like that one.
I think you're going to have top 10 in your top 3, aren't you?
Yeah, could be.
Oh, well, for me, it's the top 2 so far. I'll tell you that much. So this one I like because so Maynard Keenan started off with Tool, right? Then Perfect Circle became like a side project. Perfect Circle, especially when they released the song Judith, right, started like blowing up just disproportionately. I mean, it really started like hitting out there. I mean, it made all the radio stations, and so the vocal effect I absolutely loved the vocal effect going all the way through, and I just loved the vibe of the song, just because it really took it back to that 90s feel. It really hit Tool and A Perfect Circle. I do agree with Rob. It sounded a lot like Radiohead too, but then again, that's why I said, hey man, nice shot. What a nice shot, man. Come on.
Oh, what, singing wrong? Oh, yeah.
The name of the band. It's like escaping me right now. Come on.
More verses. Come on. Sing us more.
That's why I said, hey, man, nice shot. What a nice shot, man. Hey.
Right.
Filter.
Hey man, nice shot. Yes.
Yeah, Filter. Hey man, nice shot. Yeah, that's. I don't know why it just. But if you think about like a Filter, Nine Inch Nails, Tool, Perfect Circle, I think that this is. I think that the song is really doing the trick for all of them. I really enjoyed it. Definitely gave me a sense of nostalgia. Definitely brought me back to that 90s feel of music. And yeah, think a really great job. So probably a very strong contender for my number one of the show here, and I really enjoyed every aspect of it. So I started writing down that the vocals were a little low, but when the vocals kind of like popped and like really were brought up, because it sounded like a bit of a bedroom production at first, right? The guitar was a little bit overpowering. The vocals were low, but when the vocals actually came to where they were supposed to be, towards, I guess, the chorus portion, you could say that it really brought that song to life. So I very, very, very much enjoyed this. Really, really liked it.
I mean, possibly my beef with the vocal is probably when I look at the title "Sleeping Pills," and it's so I guess actually probably the vocal does need to be on. To capture the atmosphere of the lyrics. That's probably why they are the way they are. But I'll give it another listen. I will encourage people to also check out Bruce's work. Bruce Panagopoulos' other version of Sleeping Pills is like a proper sort of metal version of that big ebb and flow sort of thing where the guitars really boom in. And I had a very, very quick listen a few moments ago. And it was, so just... probably check out the other version because it's very different to that one, I would say.
I will definitely be checking it out. I don't think that I left that enough fire than it deserved, honestly. I left it 20 there. Don't do it, Carl.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll do 5. There we go. I'll round it to 5.
Do 5. That'll be fine. Yeah. I gotta say, that's definitely a very, very, very strong contender for my number one of the top 3 of the show here. Very cool. And again, random, pick by the Purple Bowl of Destiny. There, unsigned artist. We just happened to find it. That was posted 11 minutes ago. And again, folks, visit the video description below. Find these artists if you like that song. Click on the link. Find them more on Spotify, Bandcamp, wherever they may have the songs posted. Add them to your playlist, buy them on iTunes. Do support your local musicians, please, by all means, and for all intents and purposes, by all means necessary. So, moving on to song number 4, we have Etta Heartfield, Sweeter Than Bliss.
Yes, so Etta Heartfield is from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. So influences include Calvin Harris, Florence and the Machine, Billie Eilish, David Guetta, Shapeshifter, The Black Seeds, Trinity Roots, Daft Punk, and Fat Freddy's Drop, among others. Now, this song itself, it says here, interestingly, she wrote and recorded this over 20 years ago and finally decided to release it. As much as I loved, actually it is on iTunes now, yes, looks like it is. As much as I loved to write and play music, I was a closet introvert and dreaded putting myself in front of an audience. It's taken a while, but I've finally gotten to the stage where my passion outweighs my shyness, which is better late than never, I guess, she says. Now, this is an interesting thing because I think this goes for a lot of music. People are, very shy and retiring. Wallflowers, I guess, is the expression, isn't it? And but very creative people often are. And the problem is you're letting yourself, your soul, a bit of yourself, you're exposing that out to the world, and it's, you feel like you're going to be judged, and you probably are. But it's a great thing because once you do that once, then you can do it again and again and again. Once you've got to just get your music out there. By hook or by crook, do it, because it's the best thing I ever did when I finally got a chance to get my music out there. So I'd encourage every budding artist who wants to get the song out there, do it. So this one's called Sweeter Than Bliss.
Sweeter Than Bliss, reposted a month ago, but still not bad stats here. I got to say 95 plays, 5 saves, 200 fires, and 3 minutes, 25 seconds long. Sweeter Than Bliss by Etta Heartfield. Let's check it out.
There he was, standing, smiling at the sun, watching the clouds was holding back, holding back, holding back, holding back from me. Put my hand on your shoulder, but he pulled away as I turned to walk away from him. He said, there's something that I found today, that I found today. There are sweeter things in life. There are sweeter things in life. There are sweeter things in life than these. Sweeter things in life than bliss. I still love you, but it's time to walk ahead. What we have is so beautiful, but my mind is so misled because there are sweeter things in life. There are sweeter things in life. There are sweeter things in life than these. Sweeter things in life than these. There are sweeter things in life than these. Sweeter things in life than bliss. Than bliss, than bliss.
Well, geez, Rob, sorry. I was having a little bit of a fear incident
Come
in
on.
the kitchen, man.
Come on.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn this thing down. Because now there we go. All right. That was,
Jesus.
no. That's it's not that quick. That was Etta Heartfield with "Sweeter Than Bliss" and Carlos Fandango. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so just to quickly, I'll read you a couple of comments that were on the on Slap. So Maya Klaas, our show's friend, great sound and melody and powerful vocals. And one person, I saw one person's one was says, for real though, and that's just, you know. But I wrote, and I think I stand by this, is and to think you've been depriving the world of that voice for 20 years. I'm glad you came out of your shell because this is where you belong. Lovely vocals, both lead and backing vocals, very pure, like Judy Dybel, Julie Covington, and Sandy Denny. And I said I don't feel the song would suffer for having a slightly bigger build and fuller orchestration. I do think it would benefit from that. The comments that I put tonight are it reminds me of a sort of the vibe of All About Eve's Martha's Harbour, which is a beautiful song, and also a bit like a sort of Stevie Nicks type of ballad song. So but very pure voice, and she has a, I won't start the nice thing again, but the very nice natural gentle vibrato in her voice, and just I think just such a good emotive expressive vocal that it will definitely connect with a lot of people. I mean, you know, she could sing any style of relationship song and thing and it will really I think she'll nail it every time and capture that and captivate a fair amount of our audience with that voice.
Smart monkey, what say you? A Sqaure or no a Sqaure?
Yeah, so I thought I'd have a quick scan of her other tracks, and they're good. They are good, but I almost feel like her vocals are secondary to the track, to the almost electronic elements or dancey elements of the track. So she's almost like a guest vocalist on a dance track on her other tracks. And I think, like Carl said, I think what this one does well is it just showcases her vocals. It is purely about her vocals and her song. And then you've got the acoustic guitar and the piano just there to back it up, but it's all about her singing, which is possibly why she was a little bit nervous about pushing it out there, because it's all about her vocals on this one, whereas the other tracks you're kind of hidden a little bit behind the dance elements of it. And again, I agree with Carl, she shouldn't be shying away from it. She has a real vocal talent, and I would love for her to explore that further and really make sure that her vocal is the primary part as she moves forwards. And again, as Carl just said, get that orchestra behind it and just really bring out your vocal and be proud of it, because she has a really good voice. So yeah, I agree with Carl on so many aspects of what he just said on this one, and she shouldn't shy away, and she shouldn't hide behind other elements of it. She should be proud of that voice. It's really good.
Yeah, she should. I was thinking while I was having my little kitchen incident, that I was thinking that if you had told me that this song was on, like, let's say Disney's Frozen soundtrack, I would believe you. I would 100% believe you that this was totally on, a Disney track. So a couple of things that I was going through when the song was going is I started off with Bonnie Tyler, because it almost sounded like it was going to go like a total eclipse of the heart kind of way. I really started to later on think, especially like towards the middle of the song when she had that little bit of vibrato going on, that it sounded like kind of like Sarah McLachlan, right? And then I was like, oh wow, this song would do great in a film like Braveheart or Gladiator or one of those films. And then I really started to think that I started going through like the female artists in my mind. And I was like thinking Adele, and but she's really making this song her own. So I don't think I without having listened to any of her other music, like you guys had. For those of you that don't know, I'm listening to these songs for the first time myself here. So, she's got a beautiful voice, very strong vocals, works in multiple ranges of different things. And, to the point that you guys are making is having this bigger build of an orchestra behind it, just accenting her voice, really, because that I think is the most important element of the song here is her voice. Her voice is very captivating. It'll drag you off. It'll drag you off to where it needs to be. Everything else is just pretty much accompanying. So yeah, I gotta say, this is one of those shows, and we have one of these shows every once in a while, right? Where every song that we listen to seems like it's going to be the top pick for the evening, and it's definitely getting 2 thumbs up for me, possibly even more if I had more thumbs, like 2 thumbs and 2 toes, six.
Rob's Vespusian thumbs up.
Yes,
that's what you need. I think that's what it was, wasn't it?
Vespusian? Yeah, it was. I think that was pretty good recollection there. Vespusian, I think.
Yeah. Very much enjoyed it. Yeah, folks, please do visit the video description below. Find that song, put on your best pair of headphones. If you have studio monitors, crank them up and listen to that song, listen to that voice. I think absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I'm digging it. Moving on, I see we have our Luna Sqaure.
Yes, Luna Sqaure.
Sutcliffe here with Space Cowpoke. Why isn't that cowboy? Cowpoke.
Yeah, cowpokes the ones that actually sort of prod the cows and get them. It's like a cow herd, isn't it? That kind of thing. So I think, but this is our sort of country cowboy slot, track 5 normally, or often it has been. So so this sort of feels about right in this moment here. It's this is actually, I think you're going to love this. You're going to. Oh, I nearly said it. I better not say that. An electronic. It says it's an electronic blues offspring of Boy Say Go and Personal Jesus, made during a gospel mass. But it's very much more Personal Jesus, I think. It's leaning towards that. So I think you're going to love this one because it's very Depeche Mode. So those two songs, by the way, are Depeche Mode songs, Boy Say Go and Personal Jesus. But yeah, I think you'll like it. I think you're going to love this one. This will be, I think, another contender for your top spot. I'm not going to lay my mortgage and life on it, but I will bet a substantial amount that you will like it and the audience will like it. I'll bet this unsigned artist ticket.
Oh well, that's just. I was going to say. Let's put some monetary value behind it. Luna Sqaure featuring Aaron Sutcliffe. We did. What was the name of the song? It was a Fandango fave as well. All Eternity, I believe is what it was.
All Eternity, yeah, really captured that sound.
Really catchy song. Definitely the reviews that we left for it before is very much Breakfast Club, very much 80s, things of that nature. So Luna Sqaure featuring Aaron Sutcliffe with Space Cowpoke here. You know, if this lives up to the hype, then we're going to be on the trajectory for the show that every track is going to be better than the last. So once again, Space Cowpoke available on Spotify, Apple Music, that looks like Bandcamp, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Let's check it out.
Space engine, an evil bitch, if you know what I mean. I hunt, I search, I find, I kill. I know what I want, it's a broken will. I'm a clean machine, the best you ever seen. I'm a space cowpoke with a space engine. Hell right, is my middle name. I love my guns and I'm shooting for fame. Hell right, we're on a hell ride, you and me. Yeah, you and me. And I'm a clean machine, the best you ever seen. No more. I'm a space cowpoke in a movie scene, cruising the stars for my beauty queen. I hunt, I search, I find, I kill. I know what I need, it's a sacred creed. I'm a hot cuisine with a chili in between. I'm a space cowpoke with a space engine. Hell right, is my middle name. I love my guns and I'm shooting for fame. Hell right, we're on a hell ride, you and me. Yes, you and me. Well, I'm a clean machine, the best you ever seen. No more. Yes, I
Ay, Dios mío. Again, the show just keeps getting better. Smart monkey.
This is going to be one hell of a show. This is going to be possibly one of my favorite shows, if I was honest with you. The tracks so far are they're just brilliant, and I'm going to be in real trouble a bit later. So what can you say about this? This is like a strange track, but a lot of fun. To me, it's almost like a futuristic country. It's just got this kind of almost like sci-fi element about it, because it's got all these electronic instruments, and yet it just holds this country element really well. Aaron Sutcliffe's vocals are just great, and we've already said it has this Depeche Mode element into it, but I tell you, this sounds like it could be an Iggy Pop track. And I reckon Iggy Pop would have loved to have sung this track, because he loves those kind of like weird and quirky sort of songs, and he would have done really well singing this. It's catchy. It drives along at a steady pace, but those little incidental electronic instruments, they just add this kind of like quirkiness throughout the track. It's just a really good track, and it's nicely produced. Everything sits really well. And in my head, because I'm a visual person, I just had this kind of quirky sci-fi film where this film would have just sit. I would almost have made a sci-fi film just to put this song in it, because it's just really good. I really liked it. So this is one hell of a show.
I think I might have the answer that you're seeking here, but we'll go to Carlos Fandango first. Carlos Fandango.
Well, I mean, visually speaking, I think you're right. It could be used in a film. It's a music video director's dream, this song, because you could put so much in there. But yeah, it's sort of futuristic, and yet so musically very Depeche Mode, very Personal Jesus sort of feel, with all those sort of very snappy electronic beats and things going on, the twangy guitars in there, so you can really feel it's deeply rooted in the mode. But Aaron Sutcliffe, of course, gives it that sort of, he's just a versatile singer, clearly, and gives it his all to make it into sort of more of a country sort of but sort of like a cod country accent. I like that. That's fine. That's good. And it's all a bit of fun as well. Standalone, it could work as an instrumental as well. So this it's got a lot going on in there. So that's really good. But it's got a lot of swing, a lot of swagger. It's I've just written partners, yeehaw, I'm a rootin', tootin', shootin' cowpoke. So I think but yeah, there's sort of vocally, this sort of and the sort of style of the song. Funny enough, for some reason I thought of Frank Zappa's sort of Irreverence, that kind of thing, that sort of just off-key, off-kilter fusion of two things that shouldn't really go together but just somehow do. So so I think he's actually created a new genre, sci-fi country. So I think that's the new genre. So we should try and do one. But I love those low piano notes. Those low piano notes as well. Really good, but lots of detail. It's just really interesting song, and I think my brother, because he loves all the electronica stuff, as I've mentioned before, and he's gonna absolutely love this one.
For a futuristic country rock vibe with cowboys and space guns and aliens and all that kind of stuff going on, you need to listen to Muse Knights of Sidonia, and you need to watch that music video. That music video definitely, for sure, would have worked very well with this song. Although, again, Carl, I agree with you, because you and I are usually on the same wavelength as that. See, this is a personal Jesus vibe more than anything else. So I definitely picked up on that. So the Depeche Mode quality was there. It was there, but you're bringing Depeche Mode and Muse to life in this ultra kind of like cinematic sci-fi. I don't know why you needed to express the fi. I understand the country.
In case Rob swears it out somehow. Say fuck. He's going to do it now.
Yeah, but listen. So I've listened to 2 songs from Luna Sqaure featuring Aaron Sutcliffe, and one of those was All Eternity, back probably episode 9, I think. I think that was the one with Russ Palladino, if I'm not mistaken. But now with Space Cowpoke, I gotta say that this is just, again, top-notch song, and this is that episode. This is that episode where it's going to be so far.
Well, talking of episodes,
each song has been better than the previous. So
it's going to be a very difficult choice, tough choice, and yeah, we could do 3 lots of alternate universe choices for the tonight, yeah, and still.
But you know what? But here's the problem too, because we have to do our best of the 2023s. So the best of the 2023s, if we only have, like, let's say 7 or 8 categories, then tonight's show is so far filling up 5 of those.
Well, this one will win the sci-fi country category, so hands down. So there was an episode of Doctor Who a few years back called A Town Called Mercy, where he was set in a sort of, he was wearing a cowboy hat. It was set in a sort of as a Western thing. Would have gone perfectly in that as well. So this really could, very cinematic. And this Knights of Sidonia, I was thinking that as well. It had that kind of well written sort of swagger and swing. That's got exactly that feel to it. And again, the video is just goes perfectly for this. Yeah. For sure.
I just wanted to say I don't want to be outdone here. I felt like I was a bit out of the loop there, so I'd also made a note of I don't know if we can do this. How do we do this?
Put your hand near it and it should come up.
There we go. Look, I down the bottom there, Depeche Mode.
Rush. Shopping list.
Ignore the shopping list at the top. But I'd also, Carl, me and you, we're bonded. Forget Tom. Me and you are on the same.
Yeah, we were both thinking of the thrush cream because we both need it, don't we? Yeah, I forgot about the thrush cream. Yeah, okay, I'll add that to the list. It's how you get it that counts.
Yeah, I won't be outdone. Did I get that shopping list?
I don't know. Are you itching or not?
A little bit.
Then you haven't got it yet.
Oh boy.
That's us banned on this one as well.
Lube as well, so you have to wait a few days. Or is that the alternative? Oh no, we won't go there. That's the under the bed drawer thing, isn't it? That's what that's for.
Oh, you know what?
In case of emergency.
So speaking of which, let me update my shopping. Vaseline, okay.
Anus hole. Germanoids.
Can we get back to the song for a second?
Okay.
What song? I forgot.
Oh yeah. Cowpoke.
Oh, brilliant song.
Cowpoke. Is that what reminded you of the loop?
Oh my god. I knew if we don't break away from it, we're just going to keep diving digging. We're just going to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. All right, folks. That is our halfway point, and an excellent halfway point song it is. That was Luna Sqaure featuring Aaron Sutcliffe with Space Cowpoke. I'm DJ Exec. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango and a gentleman known as Smart Monkey. Together, we are putting the us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music that you love to hear.
Excellent. And if you press the notifications, what is the thing I say? Forgot my lines already. Sorry. Oh yes, and if you
Tinkly bell.
Don't forget to press the tinkly bell. I do this because Tom sometimes puts up this thing. Press the bell for any notifications of whenever Tom uploads new videos, then you will get the notifications. Forsooth. Yonder. Back
But
to you,
guys-
Tom, in the studio.
I was waiting for her to break out the microphone. Simply is. It's not the end of the show, but we are just merely taking a break. Follow the.
Oh, you were slightly sorry. You were sorry, just one.
Really rude.
I think you were sort of slightly up because you were sort of. What was the pose?
A thespian.
A little less stroke and a little more daydreamy. I think. Back to you.
Welcome to the second half of the Underground Zone.
You've got to do it again because the screen wasn't on you. Sorry, because I spoke.
No, it was on me.
Only at the end. Not at the start.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Because to us it looked like. I mean,
Right, okay. Right.
you might be getting angry with me, but I didn't think you were getting excited.
Apparently the pen got excited. So,
Oh,
okay. Welcome back to the second half of the Underground Sound. Oh my god. I
I
don't.
like that.
We'll revisit this one here. So, welcome back to the second half of the Underground Sound. I am DJ Sec. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango and a gentleman known as Smart Monkey. Together, we are putting us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share. And we'll put the music. Oh, I don't even know what I'm saying.
we'll put the music in your little ears.
I got a bit too carried away. And we'll find the music that you love to hear.
And don't forget to subscribe. Oh, no, like, subscribe, share. We'll find the music you like to hear. And then don't forget to tinkle the little bell and get all the notifications of any uploads that Tom puts on for you. And that's truly exciting.
That's right, boys. That's right, boys. We totally fucked that intro up. So, yeah. The second half of the Underground Sound is, oh boy. It's got a lot to live up to. The first half of the Underground Sound was the hits, I gotta say. So some of the best music that we have listened to so far this year. So Best of 22s is still out there. We're still mulling over how to work that episode out exactly. So why are you laughing? I was going to say somebody sounded like they were laughing. I have a star message in front of me.
What's the star message? Oh dear. Can I introduce that again?
We're fucking off to a really good start here again. So,
Right.
oh boy.
You've got a message, Tom, did you say? You got a normal message?
Yes, sir.
So it says something like, okay, we have a message that reads.
Oh dear.
Shall I be Tom this week? Okay, we have a message that reads. Okay. Right, so what you got, Tom? What you got a message?
Gentlemen, we have a message. The message reads, I love all the great country music that you boys are
Playing. Boys. You can change it if you want.
It actually reads, I love all the great country music that that you're playing, boys.
What else did it say, Tom? Anything else?
Give me a second. There's more. There's definitely more. I love all the great country music that you're playing, boys. You found some real gems. Hee-haw and yee-haw for the underground sound.
Wow, who's that from, Tom?
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson? No way! The world famous, multi-million selling US country artist who's written hits such as Crazy, Patsy Cline, On the Road Again, Roy Orbison's Pretty Paper. Oh, wow. Wow.
No, that's Willie, Nell's son, who is the chef at Nellie's Diner off of M74 motorway in Lanarkshire, Scotland, not to be confused with the world famous multi-million selling US country artist.
Unbelievable. Every week, same thing. Outrageous.
Well, it says here, pop in and try our famous Gutbuster fried breakfast. You won't be disappointed.
Gutbuster breakfast. Willie. I think I've had one of those. The breakfast, that is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Smooth as silk, that one. Smooth as silk.
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be. Well,
guys, we have a star message. Fantastic. Well done. Very good.
why can't we do this? Why can't we do this? Oh, my goodness. All right. Oh, boy. Thomas Charlie Pederson. Don't say pedo, Carl. Don't say pedo, Carl. That's
Pederson. So Thomas Charlie Pederson. Right now, I don't think Thomas Charlie Pederson is on. Oh dear. Sorry, 2 seconds. It's playing in my ear because I clicked on the link by mistake. So, right, okay. So this is singer-songwriter. He's from Scandinavia. I've got to try and remember where, and I shall look up the details because I have been corresponding with Thomas Charlie Pederson. But he's got a new album out called Employees Must Wash Hands, and very retro sort of sound to a lot of the tracks. He's got a lot of retro sort of influences. This particular track is, I think, going to be a new single, and it's called Yesterdays and Silly Ways. And it was, in fact, a direct submission to the show. So we don't get a lot of those, but this was a good one. Oh, you're muted.
That's right. Sorry about that. Yes. You know, this show oozes professionalism from every orifice.
Indeed.
Oh, goodness. I was actually emailing Charlie. Well, actually, Charlie had emailed me as I was when we were taking our break, and he was like, "Hey, when are you going to get to the song?" Pretty much, basically, not in those words. He was a bit more professional about it, but yeah, I told him that we're in the midst of the break, and we will be reviewing the song next. So, employees must wash.
What?
Employees must wash hands. Back to you, Tom, in the studio.
Yes, it is, employees must wash hands. It says Yesterdays and Silly Ways, which is, I'm thinking, the name of the album.
Yesterdays and Silly Ways. Sorry, what you're saying is the what?
Is that the name of the album?
No. Employees must wash. Employees wash hands is the name of the album. Yesterdays and Silly Ways is the single. It's actually out in mid-April, I believe, as well. So it's pretty much right now. This is why I timed it for this show so that it would actually coincide with the release.
Well, good job, Carlos Fandango. Right after our star message and everything. So, Yesterday's in Silly Ways by Thomas Charlie Pederson. Let's check it out.
I played your part, it was all fun and games, and I heard you laughing, as though the show to let you know what was really happening. Yesterdays in silly ways, you tried your best, it's not your fault, don't try to blame me. Your concrete walls proceed to retain a lonesome feeling. Yesterdays in silly ways. Yesterday is now. Yesterday is now. Yesterday is now. Can't you see? Yesterday is now. Yesterday is now. Yesterday is now. Can't you see? Yesterdays in silly ways. I took your heart and replaced it with artificial science. Then you died upon the cross, but there was no resurrection. Yesterdays and silly ways. Oh no.
So, as the description suggests, employees must wash hands. Employees must wash hands to be released on April 14th, 2023, which is the third solo album, Smart Monkey.
Yes, so another retro vibe to this song. So we've got a bit of a retro feel going on in our theme of the show as well. And again, another strong song. So this is really turning out to be a nuisance when we have to pick our top songs. Yes, I'm getting some good Beatle vibes and the Birds vibes to this. It's got that really good sort of retro feel, that brass elements that come in, those backing vocals. Yes, it's good, and then it just gets better as it progresses. The song just seems to just pull those pieces in even more. Like I say, when that brass kicks in, it just sort of takes on a really good sort of retro vibe. It's done really well. To me, it needed a little polish in production, dare I say it, but that's not a bad thing, because everything's there. It just needed a bit of polish put on it for me. But yeah, another good track. So it's caused me a problem here.
Seems to be good tracks are the problem today. Carlos Fandango.
Right. Also, I found the email chain as well. So I'll just tell you a little bit about, before I talk about the song, just tell you a little bit about Thomas Charlie Pederson. So basically, he and his brother have a band called Vinyl Floor. So if you do want to check those out, audience, then they say they made a new record which was released in 2022 called Funhouse Mirror. So it's Vinyl Floor, Funhouse Mirror. But his brother plays on these tracks and sings backing vocals on these tracks. So, yeah, it's the two of them together. But obviously, Thomas Charlie Pederson is taken the lead. Now, for me, right, oh, and he's from Denmark as well. So just to give you a bit of background there. Right, melodious, cheery, happy, fun, cool lyrics, short and sweet. So you've got influences there of Beatles, obviously. Emmett Rhodes, who I've mentioned before, very strong influence there. Klaatu, again, all of those are sort of around, bubbling there. The album itself, you've got other influences as well in there, including a heavy influence of Justin Hayward and the Moody Blues. So if you audience you like any of that stuff, just check this one out because you're going to love this album. Honestly, it's so retro. The descending bass line, very much like Bowie's Changes. So you've got that dum 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 dum, and some lovely little bass licks in there. But I like the brass. The keyboard brass interlude, it adds, because it's a keyboard brass sound. It's not obviously not a real brass sound. It's almost, and it could be a mellotron brass sound, because it's got that sort of fake brass sound. But I think that adds a lot of charm to it, and I really like the way they've done that, because I wasn't sure at first. When I first heard this one, I thought, not sure. It's not. Would it be better with proper brass? Actually, I think it's got tons of charm because of that. So all in all, very charming song, and it's got lots of earworm sort of quality about it. But that is an indication of how the album is as well. So I would recommend people just check out the album. You'll love it.
Okay. Well, you heard from Carlos Fandango. Check out the album. So I definitely get a Beatles type feel to this. And definitely, since track number 2 was that of Peter Michaels Jr., so this is kind of like in comparison to both of them. This one seems a little bit more cheery and a little bit more, how do I say? Maybe a bit more professionally recorded. You don't have to look over your shoulder. I wasn't looking at it. I think I was trying to gather my thoughts here. There was a Tom Hanks movie back in the day, and I had to look it up. I did Google this just to make sure that I had it right. But it was a movie that was called That Thing You Do, and what he had going on is, I think that if I remember correctly, he was like a music producer or like a manager trying to hunt down the next biggest kind of like hit during the 50s or the 60s, and this kind of like seems like it flows with that. So again, I'm probably going to give the same critique going here to that of song number 2, which is Peter Michaels Jr.'s song, is that it's happy, it's cheery, it's a nice production, but again, coming into today's market, I don't know if it really kind of like not that it doesn't have a place. It's like, how much of a chance does it stand as opposed to the music that we have going on there? But again, as we had mentioned before, is that at the Underground Sound, we are listening to underground musicians who are putting out music of different genres, and we're finding more and more stuff that we like. So obviously, yourself, Carl, and Smart Monkey had liked the song a great deal. So obviously, it does have a place and it does have a market. So keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. No beef.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's not, in today's world, not commercially viable, but there's definitely a market of an audience out there that is very hungry for good old retro music. And you've got stations such as Boom Radio, Heritage Radio, or the Underground Sound, that we'll have our own radio station in due course. So there are radio stations out there playing retro style songs, new songs, old bands with doing new stuff, because the likes of Spandau Ballet, Duran Duran, Depeche Mode are still, still making music. So there's definitely a following out there, and again, if they play live as a band or solo, you also garner more following, and you put your stuff on YouTube, social media, you got as good a chance as anybody. The problem is, the modern commercial market doesn't want this kind of thing, which is a sad thing as far as I'm concerned, because these kind of little fantastic gems get lost. Not to me though. I'll be buying it.
It would be nice to hear this kind of song on a classic rock, kind of like a radio station, right? Like something that's mainstream out there. It would be nice. This is definitely, not something that you would turn the radio away from or anything like that. So it is a good song. It's just, once again, when I voice my opinion on this type of song, is just like, where does it have its place at? And I think that it does have its place at, definitely a kind of like a retro kind of rock radio station. So, again, good production all in all. Not a horrible song. It's a very happy, cheery, vibey, and everything like that. So, again, keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. Carlos Fandango loves this album a lot.
I do, really do, actually. It's honestly, it's when I heard it all the way through, a couple of times, I've heard a sort of sneak preview. Luckily, Thomas sent me a sneak preview of it, and not for public consumption just yet, but honestly, it's one of the most refreshing things I've heard, because it was 14 tracks that just passed by in a whiz, and I thought, well, and it's got a lot of my favourite influences in there as well. You've got the Beatles, you've got the cartoon Moody Blues, and all these different things, melting pot stuff, and you can hear them there as well. So it's just like getting a new Beatles album or something. So honestly, it's really good. So I would definitely, when it does come out, check it out, add it to your playlists, and enjoy. That's all I can say.
Well, look out for that album dropping on April 14th, I believe is what it said, 2023. Yes.
No?
No?
Oh, that's correct. Yeah.
I'm asking.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying yes, mid-April. Yes.
I had already changed my screen to the next song, so yes, I'm asking a question.
Right. So
no, I'm an idiot, because I think that looking at you on my computer screen is like I'm looking at you directly in the eyes. Like, yes, is that what it is, Carl?
Oh, well, I would be looking at you, but I was also looking at another screen, so I was listening to you, but not looking at you. Sorry,
You're looking at me, weren't you?
Yes.
I was thinking.
I don't blame you.
I was looking at the screen, listening to Tom, but thinking about you, Rob.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame him either. You and your big shiny red nose.
Yeah, cherry
Christmas show.
I wish you had this tan for our next Christmas episode. So
yeah,
It could be arranged.
right.
it'd be a red Robbie.
Tonight. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. All right, moving on. The Black Line Masters, You're My Favorite Song. What do we got going on here, Carl?
All right, what do we have here? The Blackline
You look
Masters.
just as confused as I do.
Sorry.
I love that I caught you by surprise.
You kind of did, because I was looking at that screen originally when I was listening to you, but because you kind of demanded me back to you to look at you, I kind of went off the screen, so I was then caught by surprise. I'm sorry. Fredericton, NB is Nebraska, I'm guessing.
Nope.
No, hold on, NB, that's Canada. So
It says Canada right afterwards, man.
it does. But I'm thinking NB Canada. Yeah, I know it does.
Fredericton, North NB Canada. So what would that be?
I know. Well, anyway, it's Fredericton in Canada.
North Brunswick, maybe. I don't know.
Could be. Influences include Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Tragically Hip, James Bay, Old Crow Medicine Show. Now they're a band I like. John Frusciante, Eric Clapton, Mumford & Sons, Hosier, John Prine. So bit of folk, bit of country, a bit of folk and country. And basically we've got this song called You're My Favorite Song. It doesn't actually give it a description, but I can tell you some of the comments. It's not had loads of plays, only 2 saves, one of them being me. One of them says, love the vocals and rhythm. This is a vibe. Really love what you've got going on here. Nice, and nice. 3 other comments. Nice.
Alrighty then. You're My Favorite Song, and the traditional kind of English spelling with the U thrown in there for whatever reason. So maybe
because they're Canadian, see? So because it was part of the British Empire once upon a time.
Yeah, well, so was the United States. So.
Well, sort of, not officially.
Kind of.
Really. Should have been.
Kind of. Yes. Love had lost, right?
It's out, isn't it?
Yeah, 19 plays, 2 saves, 33 fires. Posted 4 months ago, so not great stats. But let's take a listen and judge for ourselves. Check it out.
You're my favorite song. Get stuck in my head, open dance alone. Take your hand in mine. There's no doubt to me that our souls are intertwined. Hear a clear motif, a melody surrounds you. I just need you to see how you harmonize my heart. I love to feel you breathe when you wrap your arms around me. As long as we can sing, we will never be apart. And she said,
You're my favorite song. Get stuck in my head, hope you sing along. Place my hand in yours. There's no doubt to me that our love will endure.
hear a clear motif, a melody surrounds you. I just need you to see how you harmonize my heart. I love to feel you breathe when you wrap your arms around me. As long as we can sing, we will never be apart. And they said, you're my favorite song. Get stuck in my head, open dance alone. Take your hand in mine. There's no doubt to me that our souls are intertwined.
Smart monkey. So, is this your favorite song?
Oh, that's a leading question. That I'm not going to tell you yet. I was trying to think back to what Carl said about folk in country. I just wanted to just say it, just to challenge myself, but I managed to get away with it. Okay, yeah, nice feel to this song. A lot of nice elements going on. Really like those guitar verses. They're really nice. They nice. Here we go.
Nice.
We're going back in a nice. Those vocals were really nice. The way that you've got the male aspects going in and into the female aspects, and yeah, just a nice feel to it. But yeah, there were a couple of things that I'm not sure. Maybe it's just my ear. But I'm not sure when those guitars were playing, really liked them in the initial part. And then the chorus kicked in. I wasn't too sure if there was another layer of guitar that sort of fell on the top, and they almost clashed. Now it could just be me, but it almost felt like two guitar layers were just dropped on top of each other in the track. I might be being petty there, and the other thing I would have liked, actually, oddly enough, and again, this is probably a personal preference, is if sorry, who's the singer? The male singer? Do we know what was their name? Frederick.
Well, I know they're from Fredericton in Canada. The guy that's actually, it says here the handle is Ryan Gardiner, so like Gardner, but with an I.
So Ryan, yeah,
probably Ryan. Probably.
Okay, so Ryan's vocals I liked, and they're not the purest of vocals. There's nothing the matter with that. And I would have actually preferred if they were a bit drier and didn't have quite so much echo and reverb, because I think sometimes that voice just cuts through better when it's just left as pure as possible. With you're going to get a little bit of automation that you want to do just to bring it out of the mix, but I would have preferred it to be a bit drier myself. And I just think it would have been a more emotional track again. But again, it's a very personal taste, personal feeling from me. But actually, that all said, this is a really nice track. It has a really nice feel about it. And I really enjoyed it, especially those guitar verses. They're just lovely, and then the vocals sitting on the top of it. It's a nice track.
It is a nice track, Carlos Fandango.
Nice indeed. Right. So, first of all, taking on that point about the reverb, it's a good point. I think it's a nice vibe, gently hypnotic track. And I think the male vocal, the reverb, particularly on the male vocal, I really liked it because it was quite dreamy. And that's what felt nice in the song. But I take Rob's point because it then loses the clarity and intimacy potentially. So I would suggest then maybe do two versions of the song, one with drier vocals. I mean, you listen to someone like Al Green, some of his most intimate sort of soul songs, they're so dry. The vocals are incredibly dry, but then he's got world-class voice, so it's he can do that and get away with it. But it does lend that more intimate sort of vocal feel. So perhaps it would be interesting to hear that, nevertheless. But good combination of male-female vocals. It was sort of felt like a studio recording with real instruments because the drums, the snare did poke through nicely. The acoustic guitars were nice, and I think what you're hearing on the we go into the chorus part where they go from picking to strumming is that you've got the one panned left, one panned far right, or hard right, hard left, and basically you've got this. I think they're probably doing slightly different things, so you've got a bit of movement in the guitars. So that might be what you're hearing. That sort of feels like it's sort of they're not doing the same thing necessarily and going in tandem. But I kind of like that really because it sort of gives a more live sort of feel really, as if there's two guitars playing. Very tender love song. The ebb and flow on it is pretty good. I've got it given it 7.5 to 8 because it does sort of start small, get big, start small. All that kind of thing. So it does move around nicely. I've actually written Tracy Chapman fast car vibe because it's got that sort of like a da, 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 da. So you've got that sort of slow bit at the start, and then it comes in with the drums, everything. And so it's got that kind of shape to it, I would say, as songs go. But also the cool artwork as well, very much like a spirograph. I don't know if you ever had those in America, but spirograph, really good thing where you sort of just made patterns and things, and the artwork's pretty cool like that. So I like that. But overall, I like that song a lot, actually. It's growing on me more and more I hear it, and there's definitely a market for it. Another strong song, and it's going to be really difficult to pick a top 3 here.
That it is.
That it be.
I mean, kind of reminded me of like a bit of Urge Overkill, a bit of Tom Petty, kind of like heard a bit of Pearl Jam in there as well. It kind of like seemed to have like that little bit of a vibe to it. So it definitely has cool lyrics. The female vocals were a surprise, because it seemed like it was going to be male vocals kind of like all throughout. And then, boom, they just kind of like showed up. So it definitely changed up the song a little bit. I love the guitar in there. I love the production of this song. I think that it's done really well. I'm just trying to think of like, I really don't want to make it sound bad here. I really don't. But it seems a bit dry to me. It seems like there's an element missing somewhere that could make this song a bit more out there and a bit more prolific, right? Because as enjoyable as it was, I think that it was enjoyable to me, and that it wouldn't necessarily kind of like spread and resonate towards other people. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm getting with it. I don't know. I tried to think of commercial platforms probably. A love story, something like that, something like a rom-com. I could definitely see this being in, especially with the change up between the male vocals and the female vocals, and kind of like the way that the story progresses inside the song. But yeah, I gotta say it's a nice song, and yeah, nice.
So,
where we're at here.
If you were to give it a bit of a lift somehow, just to add that extra dimension to it, I was just thinking there, what would you add? I mean, because you could add a string arrangement, but then it would sound too polished, I think. You could add some backing vocals. So I think that would probably elevate it a bit. But what else? What do you think might go in there?
I don't know. And here's what I think might be a problem with the way that we have the show going, right? Is it might just completely be a me thing, This just may be the way that I look at it from a personal preference and a personal standpoint, because I haven't heard other songs by this group yet, right? So I don't know if there's songs that are more poppy, because I got to tell you, for a ballad type of song, if there were like 2, 3, 4 songs prior to this one that were a bit more poppy and had like the crowd going in a bar or something like that, like this is a song that could be very well performed live as a ballad with a duet, especially, so everybody would probably have their lighters in the air, be dancing with their significant other, whatever the case may be, so I mean, there's a song here. It's good. It's just that listening to just this one is kind of like hindering my kind of like overall feel for the quote unquote band, let's say, right? So I really don't know, Carl. I really don't know what I would throw in there to make this a little more poppy, if it needs to be a little more poppy. It's just kind of like, after coming back from our break and having songs that we're just like wow about, and kind of like mellowing down. I don't know if that's just an effect of that transition. Yes, sir, Mr. Smart Monkey.
Please, can I say something?
Of course.
So I've had my eyes opened a little bit recently, because I've been working with a pro sound engineer, and if I was to take what Carl just asked, I think that the elements are all there on this song, and all it really needs is someone to just nurse through those elements so they come together in one solid mix. All right, does that mean maybe the vocal might need a couple of takes? Yeah, possibly. But there are bits that just aren't sitting quite well at the moment, but with a good sound engineer, they would blend them all in. And I do think a drier mix on the vocals would help. But again, you know, that could be a personal thing. But I just think with a bit of blending and a bit of polish on those tracks with a really good engineer, it's good. It could be a really beautiful sounding track, if I was honest with you. I think it's got a lot going for it. It just needs that bit of polish.
It does have a lot going for it. You know, one of the bigger points I'm making is that there is a track here. There's something to listen to. It's a good track. The whole thing is that I kind of like started slowing down my tempo, I think, you know, as I was writing down you know, what it reminds me of, who it reminds me of, right? So I started off with Pearl Jam, then I went to Tom Petty, then I went to kind of like Urge Overkill, and it kind of like feels like the song had that same vibe where it started off a bit poppier, and then it really became more mellow. So it really didn't have like this straight line of like, let's say, like being a song, right? It's just kind of like gradually, I think, built up. And again, nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact that it is a calming and relaxing sort of song. By the end of it, it's kind of like, not in a bad way, it's like you know, you're kind of like ready to close your eyes and kind of like drift off to La La Land. And again, that's a great quality to a piece of music. So I don't mean that in a bad way, because if you can sit there and listen to a piece of music and actually drift off it because you think that you're going to have nice dreams and everything because of it, then that's an awesome song right there. So I do think that you're right, Monkey, is that a little bit of fine tuning, and this song could definitely find its place on a record, on you know, on the radio somewhere. I honestly do. Yes, sir.
I'll just say one more thing, which I really liked about this track, is that when the female vocal kicks in, it's when he introduces it with "and she said," and then the vocal. I really like that touch. I really like the touch, and she said, and then the female vocal comes in, and I thought that was really good. I really like that. Yes, Tom. What would you like to say?
Yeah, thank you. Which is kind of the point that I was making about the live version of it, right? Is that if this were being performed live, you would definitely have a lot going on here. It's an inspiring song. It's a love song. That's for damn sure. You know, so it's yes, Carlos.
Well, if you think of something like "A Little Time" by the Beautiful South, that's got that dialogue between the two parties involved in the lyrics, which makes sense as well. And I'm working on one, hoping to write one soon. I've mentioned about Caroline Azam in Israel, who sings French and English lyrics, and I thought that would be really good, you know, sort of to and fro sort of thing going on. What's going on here?
I don't know.
I don't know. You're both going like this.
No, we're down here. I was following Rob's lead on this one.
When you watch it back, you'll understand what this bit means.
Oh, was I doing that or something?
I don't know why, but you were.
I don't know why. No, I don't know. I gesticulate, but I don't know sometimes what I'm doing.
Beg your pardon.
I personally think that we don't know what we're doing half the fucking time on the show anyways. This is honestly, folks, this is a glorified hangout session is all it is, really. So, but with it being a glorified hangout session, please do visit the links below, or please do visit the video description below, I should say, and find the links to all these artists. And if you like that song, I did like it. I just don't, again, I just don't know if it's going to be a top, right? We still have 3 more songs to go. So the first half of the show was awesome. Now we're kind of like in a bit of a what do you call it? A dip in the road. A dip. There you go.
Could be a fork.
We're having a bit of a, I don't know. What you call it?
It could be a fork in the road, you know.
It could be fork. Yeah, it could be a fork. Alrighty, let's move on to the second installment of the Pub Bowl of Destiny.
Indeed, Tom, I'm reporting here from the Purple Bowl's headquarters, and we're just about to be handed the Purple Bowl of Destiny. I won't be getting to pick it myself because, well, I will, but under the direction of a superhero. I'll give you the cue in a moment, but bear with me. The bowl has come into view. Bear with me 2 seconds. I'll introduce our superhero. So basically, now you might have noticed that I've got a
Wow. Yes.
Superman badge on today. Now,
Remarkably, your volume is on level without the microphone as it was with the microphone.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Yeah, that was
well, the microphones are synced up.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
That's the benefit of having a proper sound engineer. Yes.
Exactly that. Yes. So, so basically, because I was wearing the Superman thing, Al got wind of it and decided that Al wanted to also join in, but I think, bear with me now. Basically, now we know it's called Superman, so it's an S, right? So it's not M for man, but Al's got an O for Al. So, Super Al.
There's still an S.
It's not an S, no. It's not. I know, but Al for Al, isn't it? Yes. Okay. All right. So, so you're going to help us. Well, actually, you won't help us pick it because we tried that once before, didn't we? Yes. You remember, don't you?
Can I ask you how much time you spent coloring that?
Actually, that didn't take too long to do.
No,
that,
obviously not.
Surprisingly,
Super.
This took a bit longer because I had to find. Okay, look, we tried a couple of different things. Well, this is one of Susie's T-shirts that's been wrapped around, and he's actually had to have it pegged on the back.
Behind the scene.
Behind the scene, you see. So, but we did try a pair of my pants, but they just, I know. It just didn't work. So, but yeah, we like this design anyway. But you like the superhero thing, don't you? Yeah. So you sort of got that sort of epic sort of look. You're looking around at things and to do and things you can sort of save. I don't know what owls do. What do owls do? No, you don't know either. Okay, so anyway, we're going to pick out the bowl thing. Al, you can sit down for a minute, yeah. And this time, what do you want? So we had tweezers before. Just we have scissors
before.
I'll try not to chop one in half.
Please don't.
Right, so that's just straight away. Look at that. Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna like this. Because it says nothing. It says
Edam.
Edam.
Adam.
Just won't go into focus. Well, we know it says EDM anyway. I just want to prove it to the folks at home. Just so we've got some proof, that we're doing everything above board and it's all legitimate. So I'm just going to cradle the owl again.
What you do with the owl isn't legitimate.
Yeah, I know. It's not good. So anyway, but did you have a joke, Rob? Because you do.
Oh, me? Oh, my.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
if you have,
throw me under the bus again. Hold on. Bear with.
Well, I did have one potentially, but I read it to you earlier, and I think
I got one. Here we go.
Good.
Yeah, you can do your one in a minute if you like. So a pirate went to the doctor and said, "I have moles on me back." The doctor said, "It's okay, they're benign." The pirate replied, "Count them again. I think you'll find there be 10.
There be 10 are. Yeah, good one. Like that.
I thank you. I thank you.
Yeah, there be 9. I don't think I should tell mine.
Be brave.
Be brave. Well, you guys
about to get banned, Tom.
So, a construction worker tells his story at a therapy session. Now, I'm going to make him Welsh. I don't know why, but I just fancy. Well, we'll give it a go anyway. It says, "My name is Dave. I'm a good and honest guy. I'm loyal to my wife, and I work hard every day. Does anybody call me Dave, the hard worker? I don't think so. And the doctor replies, well, normally no one calls anybody that, so you can feel a little better. So please do continue. Tell me a story. I've built 2 houses, painted 10 fences, donated blood to 5 people in need. Does anybody call me Dave the house builder, fence painter, or blood donator? I don't think so. The doctor says, well, all right. Seems like you're a good man, Dave. Finish your story. He says, well, they say all those things, but you shag one sheep and that's it.
Yep.
Well, I changed it. I changed it to something a bit better than.
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah.
Edit that one out.
No.
The fact that was Welsh.
Yeah.
Squash.
Well, it was actually
Yeah,
Pontyberry. I think it's
Squash.
Pontyberry you'll find exactly on the point.
Okay. Here we go.
Move on very quickly.
Yeah, you got me into that
Right
one.
away.
I wasn't going to do it.
Get out
I
of
just
here.
got
Get
your
out of
sack.
here as soon as possible.
Just got him sacked.
This one looks like it's a Blue Zeus. Not much information on Blue Zeus either. Here, 25 followers, 306 plays, 9 tracks. This track was posted yesterday. 15 plays, one save, I should say. No fires. So presenting screen now. This might be up Rob's alley, I should say.
Ew, misses.
Mm. So it just says drum and bass, exclamation point, electronic EDM. The one comment that is here does say, sound nice. All right, Blue Zeus posted yesterday, Summer Sands drum and bass. Let's check it out. And now we come to the owl of.
Dum dum dum. Well, I think this means Al actually was. Well, I mean, Al, you may have seen, was dancing to it quite vigorously. So you're right. All right, set it. So I think actually Al quite liked it to dance to. I thought, it was a listenable track. It was definitely drum and bass, and I like the steel drum element, and it sort of gave it that sort of vacation holiday sort of element to it. Wasn't bad. It's sort of quite a listenable tune to it, and there's a bit of melody in there as well. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about it really, but I sort of thought it was a reasonable track. Don't think the bowl chose too badly, considering that was a random choice. It was all right, not bad. So I think the Owl pretty much liked it, didn't you? Must have been Al's sort of music. I didn't realise he liked drum and bass.
Smart monkey.
Yeah, had a good drum and bass beat. Had an okay vibe to it. My big problem here is it just really didn't go very far. It just kept on repeating itself, and yeah, it was okay, but I was probably about 1/3 of the way in, and then I was just tuning out because it just seemed to do the same bits over and over again. So obviously I'm not an owl.
Well, perhaps not. Tom, I think was
No, you're a monkey. Crying out loud. Of course you're not an owl.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think monkeys probably just have different tastes to owls, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. Although we quite like the taste of owl. So
what the hell? What the I think you've said the wrong thing there.
Shit. Now he looks pissed.
I'm sorry, Al. I would never eat.
Really,
never eat.
Steady on.
Never eat you, Al. You're far too good looking to eat.
Shaking with. I think he's actually scared.
No, don't be
scared.
scared,
Tom.
Al.
Sorry.
I love you, really.
Wow. Come on, you're super Owl, remember? Owly Owl.
Or Owly soup or something.
Owly
Quite
soup,
sure.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to get too in depth with that track just because I did check it on Shazam as it was playing, and it seems like that track will probably be deleted for copyright issues.
Oh dear.
Yeah, since it came up on Shazam. So Shazam knows all. I feel kind of the same as Rob, which is kind of like it's good for about a quarter of the song, halfway through. And then I was just kind of like, done with it. Like,
yeah.
DJ, switch it up. Let's get going. So just one of those things, honestly.
Okay.
I'm Kelly, a refugee.
Right. So we're going to say goodbye, Al, because you normally leave us by this point, don't you? So you're going to fly off. I know you can fly, but like in a Superman way. Dun, da, 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 da. Off it goes. So
yes, and there goes another copyright strike.
Yep, I'm wondering about that. John Williams, you'll be hearing from John Williams' lawyers. So Neve Kelly is this song is a debut single from Neve Kelly, and it's Refugee. Singer-songwriter from Ireland. We went to Ireland recently, actually. She's a home studio owner, teacher, poet, and music lover from County Kildare in Ireland. Doesn't say much more than it's a debut single. Doesn't say about the influences, but I will read out a couple of the comments that we've had on Slaps. You got some new heat or that shit week. That's one. Sounds like a mixture of the Cranberries and Beach House, very new wave inspired. This is fire. Would love you. That's just a thing. Maya Claus, interesting and original. And I said it's got a pretty cool vibe and hypnotic groove. Hopefully you like it.
I'm still trying to decipher this first comment. You got some heat or that shit week, which is fire or thumbs down, gas or trash.
Yeah, I see a lot of the same sort of comments from the same people who are running sort of playlist things on Spotify or whatever it might be, and it's the same batch of comments with a slight variation at the start. Because if you put the same comments on Slap again and again, successively, it just basically it tells you it knows you're doing that, so you have to just change the very start of it slightly or something. It's not good though.
Rob,
Just
are
the
you
bot.
You okay, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's just one of them bots, isn't it? One of them things that just spews out crap onto anyone's feed. Really annoying.
The way that the light's hitting your nose, I wasn't sure.
It's really
off or not,
it's
man.
huge. My nose is huge.
Yeah, you're either sunburned or a complete alcoholic.
You do this
A little bit of both, I think, to be fair.
That's a schnoz, man.
Are you going to schnozzle? Yeah.
Schnoz.
Sitting at my
That's a
piano.
schnoz, yeah.
Are you going to show the audience your? I mean, I can't do this with my no hair to that little white line.
Well, this is actually kind of like fuzzy.
I think getting sunburnt in the start of April is pretty impressive. Personally, I know we've had some nice weather, but it hasn't been hot weather. It's just been slightly sunny.
Thank you. I've managed to do it.
Yes, impressive.
So if you can,
Look,
if you can see the middle portion of my neck,
Yeah.
since we're doing this right, so
Oh yeah. It's quite nice.
all still very pale, but over here is just like all tan otherwise. So yeah, no, we're having record heat for I mean it was like 90 degrees almost today. So but yeah, let's not go on about the weather, shall we? So here we go. Liam Kelly, Refugee, the debut single, also available on Spotify. Let's check it out.
How you don't make it
that style and that sounded really familiar. I just can't pin. I can't put my finger on it. Smart Monkey.
Yeah, likewise. I was struggling, but there was a band that I used to listen to back in the 90s called Pale Saints, the Pale Saints, and it reminded me very much of them. It's that kind of very sort of dreamy vocals, and yet it's still got like this kind of indie feel to it. So yeah, I mean, I really liked the feel of the track. The only thing that I've got is that those vocals are maybe a little bit too much reverbed, but it just needs a little bit of mixing, a little bit of better mixing to bring them out, because actually the vocals are really good. And they do need the reverb, because I think that's what's given this the effect, but I think it just needs a little bit more sympathetic reverb, or a little bit more affecting on that sympathetic affecting on that vocal. Other than that, I really liked it. The rest of the track I felt was really quite strong and pretty well produced. It's just that vocal that I found was just a little bit too echoey and just sort of almost like swamped itself by its own reverb, if that makes sense. But other than that, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good track.
It's a decent enough track. Once again, I'm still like racking my brain here, trying to think who it sounded like. Carlos Fandango.
Well, for me, it was like what it sounded like was a fusion of things, definitely rooted in the 90s for me, but a kind of musically, I'm sensing a sort of vibe of Happy Mondays Step On type thing. That's kind of groove, because it was quite a hypnotic groove, particularly with the guitars and things and the reverbs, as you mentioned before, which I liked about it. The dreaminess of Massive Attack, with that kind of just that sort of dream-like vibe state to it. But vocally, I actually think it sounds like Grace Jones a lot, because she's got that slightly, when she goes down to the deeper notes, very Grace Jones. Think of, I've seen that face before, Private Life, something like that, but or Pull Up to the Bumper, but it definitely got something of that in there. And I can imagine Grace Jones singing this one and doing a good job on it. But I like this. It's got the hypnotic groove, I think, is helped by the tambourines when they come in. I've got a really cool feel about them. Interestingly, what it reminds me of, the tambourine sound sort of thing, is if you think of the original Hollywood version of War of the Worlds, they have great sounds in it, and it's got that sort of almost like a tambourine sound effect on it for the spaceships, for the aliens, and it just reminded me of that somehow. But I think it's got almost like Elbow One Day Like This in terms of its sort of pseudo epic quality to it. There's something going on there, lyrically really good and interesting, but I think just the song's got quite a lot about it, and it's quite a subtle song, but a cool groove was had by all, I would say, on that one. And I like it a lot. It might not make my top three, but there's something about it that I just sort of would happily play that one again if I heard it, and think, yeah, there's something cool going on there. I like that. I'm keen to hear more from Leaf Kelly.
Yeah, it was decent. It was definitely decent. So, Liam Kelly not getting much love on Slaps, I got to tell you. 7 followers, 34 plays with 1 track. However, if you go onto Liam's Instagram page, she has 436 followers, 170 different posts. So she does have a Linktree as well. So definitely more going on for Liam on Instagram than there is on Slaps. So from County Kildare, Ireland, singer-songwriter, joined February 8th of 2023. God, I wish I knew who that reminded me of, because I mean, it's easy to pinpoint Massive Attack here, and possibly a little bit of the Cranberries, possibly. But there's one specific person that I'm thinking of in my mind, and I just can't.
Yes, I know what you mean. There's definitely something. The closest I could think of for the song music vibe was definitely "Step On" by Happy Mondays. When I had listened to that, I thought, oh yeah, it's got a kind of groove. But as an artist, there's somebody out there that definitely sounds like specifically,
Yeah.
rather than just a fusion of what I mentioned.
No, and it's just that one because it's done kind of like same style, same vibe, everything, right? It's very calming, very relaxing. Sounds like kind of like a bit of a pretty much a pro kind of like production here and everything like that, right? So definitely very enjoyable, definitely nice song. I'm thinking good possibilities for the future here for Neum, and yeah, it's like that earworm, you get that song stuck in your head, but then if you get that song stuck in your head and you can't remember who sings it, like, oh my god, what the hell did we do in the days before Google? Like, who sings this? I'm singing it in my head, but who the hell sings this? I kind of like, I feel like I'm in that process in my mind right now. And it could be L7, it could be the Cannonballs. There's definitely a rock vibe to it. It's definitely a 90s vibe, and I'm just really trying to think. Four Non Blondes, maybe? Anything, either one of you. No, like
maybe
you're not. You're just shooting shit at me. All right.
I'm just thinking, well, maybe it's a bit of the Verve. It's just very 90s, definitely rooted in the 90s. Those kind of acts, that they had them. I'm thinking Verve, maybe.
Have you heard Pale Saints at all? Because a lot of people probably don't remember Pale Saints, but they did have a couple of hits in the 90s, and then they just sort of disappeared off. But they've got that kind of rock vibe. They're very much an indie band from the 90s, and they've got that reverby female vocal. And it could be that you maybe were calling one of their tracks. So, like I said, I don't think they have many hits, but the ones they did have were, they were played on the radio of that era.
It goes on to this really dreamy vibe, right? Where you're not quite awake, but you're not quite asleep listening to this. So kind of like the picture that I see here. It's very hazy, right? So I liked it. It's enjoyable. It's very relaxing. I really do. I just wish that I could really think of who I'm comparing to.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I can't now. If I do, then obviously we will revisit that on the next show here. So
well, we can always throw it out to the audience and say, what do you think? What do you think it sounds like?
Absolutely, folks. If you know what it sounds like and you know what I'm thinking about, please do leave it in the comments below. But not only that, do visit the video description below as well and find the links to these artists. If you've liked any one of these songs so far, then do visit these artists and pay some kind of respect. Show them a fire, a share, some kind of love. Post them onto your Facebook, Instagram, whatever the hell's going on in your life as far as social media is concerned. Please do share these artists because, once again, we need to break away from the mainstream music that we hear on the radio all the time, and we do need to get these underground, I should say, artists, a bit of a boost to get them into the limelight, because we've heard some fantastic music today. Especially, I'm going to say, during the first part of the show for me. And we're going to move on to track 10 here. But before we move on to track 10, do you guys mind if I go for a quick cigarette break? Yeah, but so we took a little bit of a break here, folks. We're back for song 10 of the Underground Sound today. Rob is holding his nose for whatever reason.
I think because if you take your finger away, it's going to go white, isn't it?
When I press my nose, it doesn't look quite so red. Look.
But it's making your fingernail look really white.
Until the blood comes rushing back towards the front of the nose. Then it looks
what about twice as red?
What about if you do your fingers, press your fingers into your head? No, I mean on your forehead.
Which one?
Why? What are we doing here?
Well, because meaning, so you've got little white dots, haven't you?
Right.
I did,
yeah. Oh, I have as well. Jeez. Oh,
You're
That's
pale
nice,
as
good.
shit. You should not have that happening. I'm actually, believe it or not, I am tan. So
oh yeah.
looks like I have monkeypox. Ah!
Sorry about that.
How the hell did I have monkeypox before my trip to England? I can understand afterwards, but hell, my goodness. Okay, track 10. We have Before the Fallout, a crime for a crime. What's going on here, Carl?
So before the fallout from Salt Lake City, Utah, USA, it says it's a 2-member progressive rock band. It's a prog rock band based in Salt Lake City, Utah. We primarily write atmospheric songs that tend to be long, dark, and conceptual. Influences include Linkin Park, Foo Fighters, Kings of Leon, Black Sabbath, Ghost, Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, and Breaking Benjamin. So this particular song is called, yes, A Crime for a Crime. It says, wrote this song for a contest a few months ago. We didn't get close to being finalists, but we are proud of the song, so we decided to put it out there. So, and it's had a few comments, 4 saves on slaps so far, and 56 fire, but one just says metal, one says wow, one says dope, one says rockin', one says I'm digging it, old school 80s metal vibe. So, Speechless, this is too amazing. Well, let's see if you're speechless too and see what you think.
Thank you. Let's not forget the generic comment that's out here with, you got some heat or that shit weak. Gas or trash. Or am I looking at the same song? No, I'm not looking at the same song. Yeah, it's a different song. So this is twice that we've seen this. So a lot of people try to imitate, but they can never duplicate the underground sound. We
Because we're so shit.
we're doing something.
Because we're so amateur, they just can't replicate that.
Yeah. No, you're damn right. You're damn right.
Damn.
Damn. This is what I'm saying. It's damn. You know, I don't spam people like this because generally what I do is I'm like, hey, we are reviewing your song. Our link for our YouTube channel is on our profile if you'd like to check it out. I don't want to spam your kind of like comment section here. And then I leave a comment about like what their song is and everything like that. So I think that we're doing it the appropriate way. There are a few people out there that are just trying to hit this up and you know, kind of like get this thing going for money and everything like that. We are a bit different here on the Underground Sound. We are trying to expose that underground music. So please do visit the video description below. Find these underground musicians and show them some love. Please share them on your preferred social media platform. For right now, here is Before the Fallout, A Crime for a Crime.
Don't bake me, don't make me fall. Come take me, come make me crawl. 'Cause I won't be your crime, your lust, your hate, the last one that you break. I'm sorry. I didn't do a thing. Please let me.
These cries, these goals will find their joy. I know these ties, regret has a new toy, but you won't find a place to rest in peace of flesh. There will be no relief. Brandish the brush with ease, spatter the canvas with your breathing just chivalrous, breathing just chivalrous. Brandish the blade, this tease, cover the blank stare with your pleasure hate, biting fate, pleasure hate, biting fate. Brandish the brush with ease, spatter the canvas with your breathing just chivalrous, breathing just chivalrous. Brandish this blade, this tease, cover the blank stare with your
Well, it's kind of funny that the only reply that there was from this band for a comment was the negative reply, which was like no hook. Smart monkey.
Yes, okay. Interesting track. So when it first started, funnily enough, didn't quite sound quite so like it on these headphones at the moment, but I got little shades of Freddie Mercury, a song that he would start to sing. Bear with me, because I know this whole track is nothing like a Freddie Mercury track, but you know, you had that kind of element of what a kind of song that Freddie Mercury might have written or created. Then it goes into this kind of more heavy rock style, and there are shades of Bullet for My Valentine in that track, in that part, which is kind of one of their influences. And I kind of liked all of that bit. then it went into the death metal-y bit. And those growling vocals just, to me, were just, they just didn't do it for me. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily that death metal vocal, well, I am saying it just didn't suit this track. If it was just a death metal track, maybe it would have worked. But this kind of hybrid between the two just didn't work for me. And I think a death metal fan wouldn't have liked the first bit, and a rock fan wouldn't have liked the second bit. So for me, the track just doesn't work. And it could just be a personal taste. I would have preferred if those death metal growls weren't there, and to see how the track would have developed without them. But yeah, that's my take on it, I'm afraid.
Yep, Carlos Fandango.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about this one, and it's got a sort of what I would describe as fairly good composition, really, overall. Music's pretty good. It builds to a sort of pretty big end towards the end of the song, but a fairly solid vocal. The main lead vocal is a fairly solid vocal, although that comment you mentioned on Slaps that says no hook is, I think, actually, when he explains it afterwards in his response, is probably correct, because whilst it's a solid vocal, yeah, go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh, whilst it's a solid vocal, it does need to sort of just increase or change with the song. in the level of drama that's in it. But yes, it's a sort of rock opera stage show type feel to it, with a sort of Rocky Horror Richard O'Brien sort of vocal feel about it. Yes, that vocal raspy sort of death metal sort of thing comes in. It does seem a bit out of place, but I think all in all, it's not bad. It's sort of like a sort of ballad that turns into something a bit more epic. I think it's got potential. It just needs to be approached very slightly differently, maybe from a production point of view and from the vocal point of view, so it becomes bigger and more epic. And I think it would be more engaging then. But I think it's a fair song. It's not a bad song at all. But it's probably not my top 3 for the night. But it could be improved.
Carl's face.
Sorry, I was miles away because I'm trying to think of my top 3, and I'm just having a little think about it. Well, I'm sort of half listening.
Let me close this one out because Rob made a fair point there. And I'll say that, that at first I was kind of like, Rage Against the Machine. Then I was kind of like thinking Guns N' Roses. Then I was a bit, Megadeth with Motorhead, Faith No More. And, and maybe you're right, is that it was all over the place. And so maybe the critique was good. I do think that, I don't know, for my eyes, for what I'm reading, it sounds like the critique is a bit harsh, but it's not like we have not left harsh critique for anyone here. So let's just say this, that it was a high energy kind of show closer for us. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yep.
So the question comes, what is your favorite top 3 in the order of reverse?
In the order of reverse,
Yes.
say the smart monkey, take it away.
Yes. My God, what are you doing to me? This is a hard one, this show. Okay. Okay, so I have had to be a bit subtractive, and as we were going through the show, certain ones have had to slip down. But so I've got 5, so I'm going to go from 5.
Negative, sir. You could only have 3.
Oh, bollocks! But if I do that, then I'm not shouting out. Oh, a shout out to them. A shout out to.
Okay, well, give me your 3 in the alternate universe first, then.
So I'm going to go Thomas Pederson's Yesterday's and Silly Ways, although I do want to say Silly Willies, just because I don't know why my eye sees it that way. But
childish.
it's a good song, and I really like that, and it had that Beatlesy retro vibe. But others knocked it down. And then Kingdom of Dirt was right up there, and then others knocked it down. So my top 3. Number 3, Luna Sqaure, Aaron Sutcliffe's Space Cowpoke. I just loved the futuristic country style of that one. Just did really well with me. Number 2, just because I loved its Radiohead feel and vibe to it, is Bruce Panagopoulos. I don't know if I said that right, but
Panagopoulos.
Sleeping Pills. Oh, you've got it well sus now, haven't you? But I love that. I love that Radiohead feel. Really good. I really like that. And then Peter Michaels Jr., In My Own Way, was number 1 for me.
Carlos Fandango, what say you, sir?
So I could easily give it
Do
alternate.
you want to do an alternate dimension as well, or?
I wouldn't mind, actually. Yeah, if I did an alternate dimension one, I would have Kingdom of Okay, so my alternative universe, Neve Kelly Refugee would be 3, Kingdom of Dirt number 2, and Etta Heartfield number 1 because her voice is so nice. My actual ones that I would probably purchase and listen to would be Luna Sqaure featuring Aaron Sutcliffe at number 3 with Space Cowpoke. And then I'm torn between Thomas Charlie Pederson, Yesterday's the Silly Ways. I'll go for number 2. Peter Michaels Jr. In My Own Way is probably my favorite of the night because it's just so accomplished and complete and detailed and interesting and accurate for its time. So I'm going to concur with the Monkey Man and go with In My Own Way. How about you? Do you need an alternative dimension universe thing going on?
No, I think I got it. Yeah.
Top 3, decisive.
I think I got it. Number 3, Sleeping Pills. Loved it. Had a lot of fun with it. Great song. Honestly, very memorable. It's definitely going to be one of those songs I'm going to listen to when I'm cooking dinner later on. Number 2, Sweeter Than Bliss. Yep. And number 1, Space Cowpoke. No doubt. No doubt. Loved it. Really, really, I mean, aside from the Depeche Mode kind of quality that drags you into the song, it's very memorable and takes you to other places like way beyond. So those 3 will definitely be on kind of like a repeat on the Spotify playlist tonight. As I'm getting stuff done around the kitchen and cooking dinner and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I think that those 3 were definitely the tops.
Interesting.
Especially with just Sleeping Pills just kind of coming out of the blue. Once again, sometimes the Purple Bowl Destiny does us wrong. It does us wrong. But the Purple Bowl Destiny definitely done us right tonight.
Yeah, the bowls looked after us. I think mostly it's done well.
Keep rubbing it. Okay,
love it.
Love it. Rub it. Cuddle up to it.
Yeah, is it?
Yes.
Oh, the things that Purple Bowl has seen.
Well, it's that white blooming head and I've been doing all sorts, haven't I? So my fingers in it, and I don't know. Just me and that bowl go back a long way now, don't we? About a year or so, almost.
Oh, ever since you bought it and tossed it salad, huh?
Well, we've done a lot together actually. Seen many a breakfast and dinner and stuff, and also this show, of course, every Friday night. It's there, reliable, always appearing on the show, never lets us down. Just fantastic, really. Love it. I love that bowl.
It's
not in that way, but
yeah, I'm sure in that way as well.
The aperture is just too large for me, so I can't use it. I would say we should throw that out to the audience as well. Please do leave your comments and tell us what your favourites were, because this was a tough one to call tonight, and many could have been in the top 3. Love to hear what your favourites are. That's for sure.
It was such a tough one to call. There were some great songs here. Obviously, we pick our top 3 from our own personal preferences. So the 2 that fell off right away for me were the ones that should have been recorded in the 70s. But that was just because that's the way that I feel about it. So please, by all means, do leave your comments in the comments below. Let us know if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? What were your personal favorite top 3? What's your personal favorite number 1? Who knows? This is the thing about nice community kind of engagement here, is that everybody has their own say into it, and we welcome it very much so. And we do love to hear what everybody has to say, because, maybe it may be a little bit of a refresher for our minds as well. So I got to say, for today, which is April 7th, 2023, a happy Good Friday to everyone that celebrates this. And throughout the weekend, obviously, happy Easter. And gentlemen, any Easter plans?
Well, going to my parents and seeing my brother and his other half on Sunday for dinner on Easter Sunday. So we'll exchange our Easter eggs and things and play some board games and stuff and have a good laugh. So yeah, nice plans. Otherwise, mowing the lawn. It's got to have its first haircut of the year and should have been done by now. But if it's dry weather, it's going to get a haircut tomorrow.
Should be
And
dry. It's looking good tomorrow.
Right.
We're doing Easter egg hunt, even though, and I did say that all right this time. I know
You're doing egg hunt.
Easter egg hunt.
All right.
I mean, all my kids are far too old for it, really, but we'll just carry on doing Easter egg hunts for years. That sounded dodgy even then. Didn't it?
No, I love that. I love that you had to slow your roll on Easter egg hunt.
Oh, it's good fun, isn't it?
Make sure to give the that's the hunt.
Got a real problem with that word.
Well,
But yeah, we'll be looking for Easter eggs, basically. All right.
all right, there you go. So those are Easter plans for everybody. If you have any Easter plans, then have a great time with your family. And obviously, if you don't celebrate, then you don't celebrate. What can you do? But this is the Underground Sound for April 7th, 2023. Wishing everybody, no matter what your religious preference is, a very pleasant Friday and a very pleasant weekend. And we shall see you next week. Goodbye.
Oh, are we doing the We Are the Underground Sound? Please do find us.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so I am DJ Exec. Very forgetful DJ Exec today. So I am DJ Exec. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango and the Maniac Monkey. Together, we are putting us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music you like to hear.
Don't forget to click on the bell and you'll get all the notifications as whenever Tom uploads new videos, and you'll enjoy them, I'm sure.
For whatever reason, we're going in fast forward. So good night.
Happy Easter, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye.
Lovely. Bye.